Have you ever noticed how your mind sometimes feels just as tired as your body, especially as the years roll on? You might wake up in the morning, pour yourself that first cup of coffee, and still feel like your thoughts are foggy, as if they didn't get the rest they needed. Or maybe you found yourself forgetting where you put your glasses, walking into a room and wondering why you came in, or feeling like your brain just doesn't have the sharp edge it once did. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And here's the exciting part. Your brain, even after 60, has more power and potential than you might realize, and much of it can be unlocked while you sleep. Sleep isn't just about resting your body. It's one of the most powerful tools we have for keeping our minds sharp, our memories strong, and our creativity alive. Think about it. While you're lying in bed, drifting through those deep cycles of rest, your brain is actually working behind the scenes, almost like a little overnight cleaning crew. It's sorting through memories, clearing out mental clutter, and even recharging your emotional batteries. And the best part? You don't need expensive supplements, complicated gadgets, or even hours of meditation to tap into this hidden power. With a few simple shifts in how you approach your evenings and your mindset, you can set yourself up for better sleep and a more powerful brain each and every day. So today, we're diving into how you can unlock the hidden power of your mind while you sleep. We're going to explore the habits, the little adjustments, and the mindset changes that make the difference. By the end of this video, you'll have practical steps you can try tonight that will help you wake up clearer, more focused, and even more confident about your memory and your mental energy. Now, let's ease into the very first idea, something simple yet incredibly powerful. One of the most overlooked secrets to tapping into the brain's overnight power is creating what I like to call a gentle invitation to sleep. Think about how you might prepare your home for a special guest. You don't just leave the lights blazing, the TV blaring, and the dishes piled in the sink, right? You make the space inviting, comfortable, and calm. Your brain is no different. If you spend the hours before bed surrounded by noise, bright lights, or stressful thoughts, your mind won't fully relax, and that deeper overnight work won't happen the way it should. Here's something practical you can do. About an hour before bed, start dimming the lights in your home. Put down the phone or the tablet that shines that harsh blue light into your eyes. Instead, maybe pick up a real book, play some soothing music, or even just sit quietly with a warm cup of herbal tea. What you're doing here is signaling to your brain that it's time to switch gears. This gentle transition helps your body release melatonin, the natural hormone that guides you into sleep. You might be thinking, well, I've always watched TV before bed and I still fall asleep. That's true for many people, but here's the difference. Falling asleep isn't the same as giving your brain the best environment for memory repair, for creativity, and for that mental recharge you need. When you fall asleep right after staring at a bright screen, your sleep can be shallow and your dreams less restorative. By softening your evenings, you're giving your brain permission to slip into those deeper, more healing stages of sleep where the magic really happens. Now let's move into something even more fascinating. The way your brain organizes memories while you sleep. Have you ever gone to bed with a problem on your mind? Maybe a crossword clue you couldn't solve, or the name of an old movie actor you just couldn't recall. And then the next morning the answer just pops into your head out of nowhere. That isn't luck. That's your sleeping brain at work. When you sleep, your brain sorts through everything you experienced that day. It decides what to keep and what to toss. Important details get filed away in long-term memory, while the unimportant clutter gets cleared out. The problem is, if your sleep is shallow or constantly interrupted, your brain doesn't get to finish this filing process. Imagine trying to organize a filing cabinet while someone keeps pulling the drawers open and slamming them shut. You'd never get the job done. One way to help your brain with this overnight organizing is to give it some clarity before bed. Instead of letting your mind race with worries about bills, errands, or what's on the news, try this simple habit. Write down a short list of thoughts before you lie down. You could jot down 3 things you're grateful for that day, or even just make a quick note of the things you want to remember tomorrow. By getting it out of your head and onto paper, you free your mind from clinging to it all night. That way your brain can focus on what it does best, sorting, repairing, and refreshing. Another fascinating thing about the sleeping brain is its ability to spark creativity. Many artists, writers, and inventors throughout history have credited their dreams with helping them solve problems or come up with new ideas. And this isn't just something for the great minds of history, it's something you can experience too. You don't need to be painting masterpieces or inventing gadgets. Creativity can show up in everyday ways, like figuring out a new way to rearrange your living room, trying a different recipe, or even finding a gentler way to talk to a loved one about something important. The trick to unlocking this overnight creativity is to give your brain something inspiring to work with before bed. Instead of scrolling through negative news or stressful conversations, try listening to uplifting music, reading a chapter from a book that excites you, or even just closing your eyes and picturing a place that brings you peace. This sets the stage for your dreams to become a source of fresh ideas and gentle solutions. I want to pause here for a moment and say, if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It's a small gesture for you, but it helps us reach more people who, just like you, are looking for ways to feel sharper, stronger, and more at peace as they age. Plus, it means you'll be the first to know when more helpful content comes your way. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: the link between your sleep and your emotional resilience. Have you ever noticed that when you're running on poor sleep, little problems feel huge, and small frustrations can easily ruin your whole day? That's because while you sleep, your brain is actually resetting your emotional center. It's calming down the stress responses, balancing your mood, and giving you the patience and clarity you need for the day ahead. This means that when you prioritize good, deep rest, you're not just improving your memory and your focus, you're also strengthening your ability to handle challenges with grace. Imagine waking up and feeling less irritable, more patient, and more capable of brushing off the small annoyances that come your way. That's the hidden power of your brain during sleep, and all it requires is that you give yourself the chance to truly rest, without guilt and without rushing. So far, we've touched on how setting the stage for sleep, clearing your mind before bed, and feeding it with inspiring thoughts can unlock incredible overnight benefits. But this is just the beginning, because your brain has even more secrets waiting to be uncovered once you learn how to support it. When we think about aging, a lot of people focus only on the body: aches in the knees, a slower metabolism, maybe a little stiffness when getting out of bed. But what often gets overlooked is that the mind, too, needs just as much care. And here's the uplifting truth: unlike the body, which naturally slows down in certain ways, the brain has a remarkable ability to adapt, rewire, and even grow stronger at any age. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but you don't need to worry about the fancy word. What it really means is that your mind is capable of change, healing, and growth, even while you're sound asleep. Now, one of the most powerful ways you can tap into that growth is by paying attention to your dreams. Dreams aren't just random stories that play out in your head. They're your brain's way of working through emotions, practicing solutions to problems, and even strengthening your creativity and memory. Many people brush dreams aside as meaningless, but think about it. Have you ever woken up after a dream that felt so real it stayed with you the entire day? Maybe it reminded you of an old friend, gave you a new perspective on something you've been worried about, or even sparked a forgotten memory. That's your subconscious mind doing its work. If you want to make the most of this natural process, try keeping a small notebook by your bedside. When you wake up, before the day's distractions flood in, write down anything you remember from your dreams, even if it's just a tiny detail. At first, you might only recall a single image, like a color or a place, but over time your brain will get better at holding on to those dream fragments. Why does this matter? Because by paying attention, you begin to notice patterns. You might realize that your dreams are helping you process certain emotions, or even nudging you toward a solution to something in your life. That kind of awareness doesn't just make you feel more connected to yourself, it also strengthens your memory and your emotional intelligence. Another incredible way to unlock the brain's nighttime power is through what I like to call mental rehearsals. Think back to when you were younger and had to prepare for something important, a big test, a performance, Or maybe even your first day at a new job. You might have pictured yourself walking into the room, doing well and feeling proud. That mental rehearsal is powerful, and it doesn't stop working after 60. In fact, it can be even more helpful now. Here's how it works. Before you fall asleep, take a few minutes to imagine yourself succeeding at something you want to improve. Maybe it's remembering names more easily, speaking with confidence in a group, or even staying calm during stressful situations. Close your eyes and see it in your mind as clearly as you can. Picture yourself smiling, relaxed, and capable. Your brain takes that rehearsal and continues working on it during sleep, strengthening the pathways that make it more natural the next day. Professional athletes, musicians, and even surgeons use this technique, and you can use it too to keep your mind sharp and confident in everyday life. Let's talk about another essential piece of the puzzle, your body's relationship with sleep. You might already know that your brain and your body are deeply connected. What you eat, how much you move, and even the air you breathe affects the quality of your rest, which in turn affects the power of your mind while you sleep. After 60, our sleep cycles can naturally become lighter and shorter, which sometimes leaves us feeling groggy. But there are gentle, simple ways to encourage deeper rest. For instance, pay attention to what you consume in the late afternoon and evening. A heavy dinner, lots of sugar, or too much caffeine, even if you've always tolerated it, can make your sleep restless. Instead, try having your last cup of coffee or tea earlier in the day, and in the evening, lean toward calming foods. A small piece of fruit, a handful of nuts, or a warm glass of milk can soothe your body without overloading your digestion. Your brain, in turn, can dive more freely into those deep stages of sleep where memory repair and emotional healing happen. Movement also plays a role. You don't need an intense workout. In fact, gentle walks, light stretching, or even slow dancing in your living room can work wonders. When you move your body during the day, you're helping regulate your natural sleep rhythm. Your body tires pleasantly, and when you finally lay your head on the pillow, your brain is ready to slip into that rejuvenating cycle of rest. The bonus: physical activity also increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support memory and focus. It's a beautiful cycle. The better you move, the better you sleep, and the better your brain functions. I know that for some people, sleep doesn't come easily no matter how many good habits they follow. You might wake up often in the middle of the night, or find yourself lying awake, staring at the ceiling. If that sounds like you, I want you to remember something important. Don't stress about it. Worrying about lost sleep only makes the mind more restless. Instead, treat those wakeful moments as an opportunity. Get up, stretch gently, maybe sit with a calming book or a soft piece of music. Avoid bright lights and screens, but let yourself rest in a quiet, soothing way. Often, once your body relaxes, sleep will return naturally. And even if it doesn't right away, you're still giving your brain space to rest, which is better than lying in bed feeling frustrated. Now, let's circle back to the deeper magic of sleep. Its power to protect your memory. Many people worry about memory loss as they age. Misplacing keys, forgetting a word, or struggling to recall a name can feel unsettling. But here's some good news. Sleep is one of the most powerful protectors of memory. During the night, while you're in deep sleep, your brain replays and strengthens the things you learned during the day. It's almost like pressing save on a computer file. Without that deep sleep, those memories don't get stored as strongly, which makes them harder to recall later. So how can you help your brain save those memories? A simple practice is to take a moment each evening to reflect on your day. Pick out one or two highlights, a pleasant conversation, a task you completed, a laugh you shared, and think about them with gratitude before bed. By consciously revisiting them, you're giving your brain a little nudge to file those moments away, so they're more likely to stick. It's not just about memory, it's about creating a storehouse of joy and positivity that your mind can draw from in the future. I'd also like to touch on the role of sound. Many people find that gentle background sounds like soft instrumental music, the sound of rain or a quiet fan, can help lull the mind into deeper rest. These sounds don't just mask background noise, they create a rhythm that your brain can relax into. If silence feels too loud, experiment with soft sounds that calm you. It can become a nightly ritual that signals to your brain, it's time to let go, it's time to restore. If you're enjoying this journey into unlocking the hidden power of your mind, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It's one of the simplest ways to stay connected and ensure you keep getting valuable tips to keep your mind sharp and your spirit strong. Plus, it helps build a community of people, just like you, who want to live their best years with clarity and purpose. As you can see, the connection between sleep, memory, creativity, and emotional strength is profound. Each night, you're given a natural opportunity to refresh your brain, almost like pressing a reset button. And by treating your evenings with intention, through calming rituals, gentle movement, mindful eating, and dream awareness, you're creating the conditions for your mind to work wonders while you rest. It's amazing, isn't it? The older we get, the more we realize that life isn't about racing from one moment to the next. It's about savoring, appreciating, and finding ways to feel at peace with ourselves. And when it comes to unlocking the hidden power of your mind while you sleep, there's one more beautiful truth to hold on to. Rest isn't just something you earn after a long day. It's a gift you give yourself, and it's one of the most powerful investments in your health, your memory, and your happiness. We've talked about how preparing your evenings, reflecting on your day, and paying attention to your dreams can transform the way your brain works at night. But let's go even deeper into the simple practices that can help you carry that power into the next day. One of the most underrated practices is what I like to call morning gratitude. You see, the way you wake up is just as important as the way you fall asleep. When you open your eyes in the morning, your brain is fresh out of those repair and filing cycles. It's like soft clay, ready to be shaped. If the very first thoughts you invite into your mind are positive, they set the tone for the entire day. Imagine this. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or worrying about chores, you take a moment to simply say to yourself, I am grateful for this day. I am grateful for my body. I am grateful for the people I love. These little affirmations don't just sound nice, they actually reinforce the work your brain did overnight, strengthening the emotional balance and mental clarity you've been building while you slept. You don't need to write long lists. Even 3 simple acknowledgements each morning can light up your mood and sharpen your focus. Another important way to carry your nighttime brain power into the day is to trust the answers that come to you in those early hours. How many times have you woken up with a new perspective on a problem, a clearer idea, or even a sudden burst of inspiration? Too often, people dismiss those morning thoughts as fleeting, but those insights are the result of your brain working behind the scenes all night, connecting dots you couldn't see before. By giving them attention, maybe jotting them down in that same notebook where you keep your dreams, you're honoring the intelligence of your own mind. Now let's talk about relaxation in a different light. Most of us grew up believing that productivity is what makes us valuable, that if we're not constantly doing, we're falling behind. But after 60, the most powerful thing you can do for your brain is to embrace rest as a form of productivity. When you rest well, when you give yourself permission to relax, you're fueling your memory, your emotional resilience, and even your problem-solving abilities. Sleep isn't wasted time, it's an investment. And the more you respect it, the more it will reward you. There's also something profoundly healing about routines. You might notice that as we age, routines become even more comforting. They bring a sense of stability and calm. And when it comes to sleep, routines are a secret weapon. Going to bed around the same time each night, creating a ritual of calming activities, and waking up at a consistent hour helps your body and brain settle into a rhythm. This rhythm acts almost like a lullaby, guiding your mind more easily into those deep healing stages of rest. It doesn't have to be complicated. A warm bath, a prayer, a favorite piece of music, or even simply brushing your teeth and turning down the covers at the same time each night can all become powerful signals that whisper to your brain, it's time to heal, it's time to recharge. And here's something I don't want you to overlook: kindness toward yourself. Sometimes we can be our own harshest critics, especially when it comes to sleep. Maybe you've had nights where you tossed and turned, and the next day you scolded yourself saying, I can't believe I didn't sleep again. But what if instead you spoke to yourself the way you'd comfort a dear friend, saying, it's okay, my body will rest when it needs to. Tonight is a new chance. That shift in self-talk is powerful. When you release judgment, you release tension. And that tension is often what keeps the mind from settling into peaceful rest. You might also find it encouraging to know that your brain doesn't need perfection to thrive. Even small improvements in your sleep can create big changes in how you feel and think. Maybe you don't get a full 8 hours, but you create a calming bedtime routine that helps you sleep more deeply for the hours you do get. That alone can make your memories sharper and your mornings brighter. The point is, every little step you take towards supporting your mind while you sleep is a victory worth celebrating. As we bring everything together, I want you to imagine your brain as a garden. During the day you plant seeds, conversations, experiences, new information, little sparks of inspiration. Then, while you sleep, your brain tends to that garden. It waters the important seeds, pulls out the weeds, and arranges everything in a way that allows new growth to flourish. When you wake up, you're stepping into a refreshed, nurtured mind that's ready to face the day with more clarity and strength. And remember, you are not too old for growth. You are not past the point of change. In fact, these years can be some of the most mentally rewarding of your entire life, because you have wisdom, perspective, and now, tools to unlock even more of your brain's potential while you rest. Whether it's strengthening your memory, sparking creativity, or simply waking up feeling calmer and happier, your mind is ready to work for you. You just need to give it the chance. So tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, I want you to feel a little spark of excitement. Not just for the rest you'll get, but for the unseen magic happening in your mind. Picture your brain quietly recharging, organizing, and creating as you drift into dreamland. And when morning comes, greet the day knowing you've tapped into one of life's greatest hidden powers. If you found this video uplifting, I'd love for you to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It's a wonderful way to support this community of people who are embracing life fully after 60. And I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. Share one little bedtime ritual you practice, or one dream that left you inspired. Your experiences might be just the encouragement someone else needs. At the end of the day, remember this: age doesn't diminish your mind's potential. If anything, it enhances it, because you carry decades of experiences, lessons, and stories within you. By learning to unlock the hidden power of your mind while you sleep, you're giving yourself permission to live with more clarity, more joy, and more peace. So, here's to you, resting well, dreaming deeply, and waking up to the best years still ahead.